So, new Ghost of Yotei gameplay news, PlayStation 6 next-gen shift is happening, and PlayStation legacy news. Those are the stories we're going to cover today, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. First, yes or no, are you hyped for Ghost of Yotei or not? The game is confirmed to launch this year and rumored to launch maybe sometime in the early summer. I'm excited to play this game, as you guys already know, but that's just me. What about you? So comment below yes or no if you're hyped for Ghost of Yotei or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, Ghost of Yotei gameplay news. Reading from Push Square, Ghost of Yotei is launching on PlayStation 5 later this year, but as is customary from Sony, the platform holder is keeping the game under lock and key until closer to launch. However, as spotted by members of the Reset Era forum, some new information has been uploaded to the game's official PlayStation page. There's not a whole lot to feast on, but it should help raise your anticipation for the release. The blurb starts, 300 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima, a new warrior, Atsu, rises from the ashes of her homestead. Filled with fury and determination, Atsu will hunt down those responsible for the death of her family and exact her revenge. Every odd job and bounty will provide the coin she needs for her journey, but how she fights, survives, and evolves the legend of the ghost will be up to you. So it sounds like you'll have a lot more authorship over what type of playstyle you adopt this time, and that'll be augmented by a new arsenal of weapons. Ghost of Yotei features new mechanics, gameplay improvements, and even new weapons for Atsu to master, including Odachi, Kusarigama, and dual katana, the summary states. There's also a little overview of the sandbox itself. Ghost of Yotei takes place in the land surrounding Mount Yotei, a towering peak at the edge of Japan's snowy northern region. The page explains, in 1603, this area was outside the rule of Japan, a wild frontier filled with sprawling grasslands, icy tundras, and unexpected dangers. And as you'd expect with first-party studio Sucker Punch at the helm, this is going to be a visual tour de force on both PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro, featuring massive sightlines that let you look far across the environment, skies of twinkling stars and auroras, and vegetation that sways believably in the wind. Ghost of Yotei has been built from the ground up for PlayStation 5 consoles with enhanced performance and visuals on PlayStation 5 Pro, the overview concludes. So some of this information was already out there officially, and you could piece together from the trailer some of the other information, but it's nice to have all of this laid out for you officially right there on their page. Before we had the katana, now we have multiple weapons to choose from. I'm curious to see how they evolve the fighting styles for each of these weapons and not make it overcomplicated. The different biomes mentioned also sound great and pretty much reconfirms this is a sort of Wild Wild West in Japan. As for the story, I like the revenge story if done well, so let's see how they pull this one off here. And if you're enjoying the video so far, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community on our way to 150,000 subscribers. Now, diving into the second story of the video, PlayStation Legacy News. Reading from GameFile News, the most important moment during an unusual PlayStation presentation at last week's GDC was probably at the very end. The talk was winding down, the QA portion had begun, and an employee of one of Sony's most revered game studios, Naughty Dog, stepped up to the microphone to make a comment. For the preceding half hour, Garrett Fredley, a senior build engineer at PlayStation, had been addressing a room full of developers, press, and other GDC showgoers about how he and his team of two others at Sony had been working for the last few years to begin preserving PlayStation's history. Fredley's talk covered the servers and mineshafts he and his team are using to save builds of games and scores of other digital artifacts from PlayStation's 30-year past. He talked about the logistical challenges of their effort and the value of letting the rest of their division and the industry know that this was something that's being done. So this team started a while ago, and when we first heard about it, we thought it was going to be a team that was working on backwards compatibility, but they're focused on preserving assets for Sony. They've managed to preserve 650 terabytes, I believe, so far, which is a lot, but they're seemingly far from done. They still have a bunch of work left to do. It's amazing to hear they're trying to preserve all of the 30 years of PlayStation. I originally assumed developers did this at their own studios, keep full backups of their previous work, but it seems like that's not always the case, and obviously studios shut down, projects sometimes get canceled, etc. A bunch of things happen, so not everything things preserved. They're going through everything from PS1 to PSP, 3, PS4, PS Vita, and the PS5 era of PlayStation. They're seemingly going through everything to try to preserve as much as they can. I hope they manage to get this done, obviously, but you guys let me know if you're happy there's a team like this or you don't care. Let me know down in the comments below.
In an attempt to turn the PlayStation into less of a product and more of a lifestyle.
And now diving into the final story of the video, PlayStation 6 next-gen shift is happening. Reading from Twisted Voxel, Sony Interactive Entertainment officially ended shipments of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro consoles in Japan as of last year. The official Japanese PlayStation website was updated on March 28, 2024 with information regarding the availability of its previous-gen consoles. Sony Interactive Entertainment ended shipments of both the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro in Japan as of last year. This suggests that worldwide shipments of the consoles have also ended. So we don't know the worldwide aspect of it, but the thing that's interesting here is the Japanese shipment ending time frame when thinking about the PlayStation 6. This information is also old a year ago, but it seems like now it's circulating. But the interest of this in terms of this aspect of the video is of course the PlayStation 6 and how it connects with a couple of things that have happened in recent memory. So let's look at a couple of things. We know from leakers that Sony is set to produce the first chip for the PlayStation 6 testing later this year, and if that happens, the normal cadence according to leakers is that the PlayStation 6 should launch 2 years later in holiday 2027. Xbox is also rumored to release their next-gen console in holiday 2027, so things seem to be lining up. Beyond that, Sony has also officially stated that they're ending PlayStation 4 game supply on PlayStation Plus as of 2026. When did Sony do that for the PlayStation 3 before the launch of the PlayStation 5? In 2019, and the PlayStation 5 launched in 2020. And when did Sony end the shipments for PlayStation 3 consoles in Japan? In 2017, 3 years before the launch of the PlayStation 5. And here, they ended PlayStation 4 shipments in 2024, potentially 3 years before the launch of the PlayStation 6. There are multiple things that are lining up here, pointing towards the PlayStation 6 launching in 2027. Obviously, this doesn't mean things are set in stone, but Sony seems to be following a similar time frame pattern to the past before launching their next console. Things could always change, but it's looking like the PlayStation 6 will launch sometime in holiday 2027. I assume it's going to launch in November as normal, and this time around we're going to have another double console launch with Xbox and Sony launching their next consoles in the same month potentially. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because this time around we also have handhelds coming from both of these companies potentially. It all depends on if they're launching them with these consoles day one or later. But you guys let me know if you're excited for the PlayStation 6 or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with the end of an era. It seems like the PlayStation 4 is finally sunsetting and we're fully moving on with the current generation of the PlayStation 5 and the next generation of the PlayStation 6 seemingly around the corner. So if you're a fan of that PlayStation 4 era, you know, Days Gone, Death Stranding, Spider-Man, Horizon, Bloodborne, you know, that era of PlayStation, destroy the comment section with the end of an era, and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.